So I'm just really intrigued by your background, having been a coordinator and everything. Kind of tell me how you ended up here last year and how tough it was to kind of be in that analyst role.
Well, obviously I've been coaching for 30 years, and I've been a coordinator, I've been a defense coordinator, special teams coordinator, coached the secondary, coached the linebackers. Clay asked me if I'd come out here last year in that role, and he's been asking me for a while because Clay was my GA at Duke in 1996.
Oh,
so,
how about that?
Yeah. So we go way back. We're friends forever. And wasn't sure about coming out to the West Coast because I'm from Florida. Been coaching in the Big 12 for 20 years. So, but it was a great opportunity for me, and I love it. Now I don't want to leave because of this weather.
How'd you finally get over the hump and decide to do it?
I just felt like it was a time in my career that I had to get out of the situation I was in and get to a better situation. And I felt like this was a good situation, and I'm at USC. I mean, name 5 programs better.
Yeah, of course. Did he give you a sense that when a full-time position on the staff opened up that you would be that guy, or?
He just said, let's hope for the best, and whatever happens, happens. And I told him, don't think you're hiring me to be full-time next year. I don't expect that. I could probably get a job from here a lot easier than I could from the last place I was at, you know. But it worked out for us. So I'm happy, and I know he's happy, and I think it's a good fit.
How unusual did it feel last year in the role you were in?
Well, it was tough, you know, because you're not actually able to coach. But I learned a lot, studied a lot of film, learned this defense, which it's really helped me. There was no real pressure to dive into anything else but, you know, that type of stuff. And I learned a lot from Coach Pendergrass.
And then how did the conversation progress to make this what it is now?
Well, when he made some changes and he wanted to get another guy on defense because they were short and they only had 4 guys. So it was the way we split up our defensive staff that sort of made a role for me.
I've noticed you've been very active in recruiting, even maybe before you were officially promoted. Is that something that you think is a strength of yours that you're going to be?
Well, it's been, you know, in the past, you know, like I said, I've been recruiting Houston for 25 years. So I know that area, and I know Florida because I'm from Florida. So I'm learning California, but when he put me on the road, I found about 4 or 5 guys, and it was a good situation.
Did you have options to consider after last season before this all came about?
Yes. But I was going to hold out as long as I could, and it worked out.
How, I don't, you're not going to tell me specifics, but how close did you come to feeling like you had to pounce on something that was intriguing enough? Or
it was getting close until he said, you know, I think I'm going to be able to do something. So I said, I'll tell him no. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to have options, but this was the best option.
So you've been a coordinator. How do you and Clancy differ in the way you do things? What have you learned from his style so far?
Just it's a pro-style defense, and it's some combination coverages that I wasn't been around. So I learned some coverage stuff that was good, and I love our blitz stuff. I really like. It's just basically being around the whole package and how they teach and how they install. It was interesting.
And how about the guys that you're now in charge of? What was, when you were preparing for spring, what was your kind of assessment of where things stood with that group?
With that group, I mean, it's funny because last spring, when Coach Nansen went out with a knee injury, I was actually coaching. So I coached last spring, and I recruited last spring. So it worked out. I had been with those kids before, so they understood how I coached.
Do you still have that desire to get back to a coordinator spot again at some point?
You know, if the situation is right, absolutely. But, you know, I just want to enjoy coaching again and, you know, being around good people, good kids, good staff. And, you know, whatever happens, happens. But you always strive to be better.
So let's go back to Clay, your first meeting with him as him being a GA. What was your first impression? How'd you all kind of bond during that experience?
I just sort of, it's a story that when I was a GA, Mike Heimendinger, who was the offensive coordinator at Duke at the time, he sort of took me under his wing at Rice. And I was a GA. He took my wife and me under his wing, took care of us, fed us, clothed us, you know. So when he came in, we hit it off. So I took him and his wife in and took care of them. And I said, pay it forward.
That's awesome. And what was your first impression of him at a young stage of his career?
No, he's unbelievable. He's organized. He's got a great presence. The kids love him. He's a great recruiter, great people person. And I just think he's got the whole package. I'm proud as hell of him.
And did you all stay in touch?
Oh, yeah.
Consistently through that time?
Yeah,
or?
no question.
That's cool. Very good.